The expedition begins. The last village. The wind howled through the narrow mountain pass, biting through layers of fur and fleece. The explorer, nameless, faceless, known only by their journal entries, paused at the edge of Hemja, the last human settlement before the endless white. Villagers huddled around fire pits, their eyes wary when the outsider mentioned the high glaciers. Asterisk, you seek the Migoi? Asterisk, an old man spat into the flames. Asterisk, it seeks you first. Asterisk, the explorer scoffed, adjusting their pack. Science, not superstition, had brought them here. Yet as they trudged past the final wooden stupa, a child's whisper followed. Asterisk, it watches when the snow speaks. Asterisk, the ascent. For 2 days, the climb was merciless but ordinary. Ice cracked underfoot, the air thinned. Then, at dusk on the 3rd day, the blizzard hit, a wall of white fury. The explorer barely pitched their tent in time, fingers numb, breath ragged. Inside, they reviewed notes. Local accounts describe a bipedal primate, 8 to 10 feet tall, with elongated arms and a sudden crunch outside. Not wind. Not snow. The lantern flickered. Heart-pounding, they unzipped the tent flap, just enough to peer out. Nothing. Only endless snow, and a single fresh footprint twice the size of a man's. The first night. Sleep was impossible. Every gust of wind became a breath, every creak of ice, a step. At dawn, the storm cleared, revealing an impossible trail, footprints leading toward the tent, then vanishing as if the maker had leaped. The explorer radioed base camp. Asterisk, no signs of wildlife. Proceeding to asterisk static. The device died mid-sentence. They pressed onward. By midday, they found the cave, a jagged mouth in the mountainside, its entrance strewn with broken animal bones. And something else, a twisted scrap of fabric, frozen stiff. Military issue. No expedition had been here for decades. The shadow. Dusk fell faster here, the sun smothered by peaks. The explorer lit a fire, pulse jumping at every echo. Then, a sound like stone grinding against stone. They turned. At the cave's entrance, a silhouette loomed, hunched, broad-shouldered, its matted fur glinting with ice. 4-3 heartbeats, it watched. Then it sniffed the air. The explorer froze. The fire popped, and the creature melted into the dark. Silence. Only then did they notice. Their knife was gone. Asterisk the discovery. Asterisk the cave. The explorer's flashlight beam cut through the cave's throat, revealing walls scarred with deep, parallel grooves. Asterisk claw marks. Asterisk the air reeked of musk and iron. Frozen pellets crunched underfoot. Bones, some animal, some disturbingly humanoid. A glint in the darkness. A rusted canteen, half buried in ice. The explorer pried it free, wiping frost from its side. A. Chernov, 1962. Soviet script. A distant click echoed, like stone tapping stone. The beam swung upward. High on the cavern wall, wedged between stalactites, was a nest of gnarled branches and matted fur. Something had been watching. Something that wasn't there now. The stalker. Back outside, the wind had died. The silence was worse. The explorer documented the claw marks with trembling hands, breath fogging the camera lens. Then, a shadow rippled across the snow. They spun. Nothing. But the footprints told the truth, a fresh set, circling the cave mouth. Testing distance. Radio static crackled to life in their pocket. A voice, warped beyond recognition, gurgled a single word. Leave. The explorer hurled the radio into the snow. It hissed once before dying. Above, a ledge creaked. A shape crouched on the overhang. Asterisk too large, too still. Asterisk. Then it vanished behind a veil of falling snow. The lair. They shouldn't have gone back inside. But the nest. Asterisk had to see the nest. Asterisk. Up close, the branches were woven deliberately, interlaced with strips of leather and, were those bootlaces? A shrill screech tore through the cavern. The flashlight died. Darkness. Then a new sound, wet, rhythmic sniffing from a tunnel behind them. The explorer backed against the wall, pulse hammering. The sniffing stopped. A warm gust of rancid breath hit their neck. They ran. Bursting into daylight, they didn't look back, but the avalanche of falling rocks behind them said enough. The cave was sealed. Deliberately. The mark. At camp, the explorer inventoried their pack. Missing. Rations, 1 day's worth. Rope, 10 meters. Knife, still gone. But something new had been added. A crude doll, twisted from twigs and tufts of the explorer's own stolen scarf, lay atop their sleeping bag. Its pebble eyes gleamed in the firelight. A gift. A warning. The journal entry that night was brief. Asterisk, it's learning. Adapting. And it knows where I sleep. Asterisk. Outside, something heavy dragged itself through the snow. Then, silence. The chase. The Yeti shifts from observer to pursuer, forcing the explorer into a desperate battle for survival. The line between hunter and hunted blurs. Asterisk, the storm returns. The blizzard struck like a vengeful spirit. One moment, the explorer was repacking their tent, fingers stiff with cold. The next, the world dissolved into white chaos. Wind screamed through the pass, erasing footprints, swallowing sound. They stumbled forward, goggles frosted over. The doll, asterisk its doll asterisk, burned a hole in their pocket. A guttural roar split the storm. Close. Too close. The explorer lunged behind a boulder, breath ragged. Snowflakes hissed against rock. Then, silence. Had it lost them? A shadow moved against the wind. Not an animal. A hunter. The trap. The crevasse appeared without warning, a jagged smile in the ice. The explorer skidded to a stop, boots scattering snow into the abyss. No way across. No way back. A snort echoed behind them. The Yeti stood 10 paces away, shoulders heaving, formatted with ice. Its eyes gleamed like wet stone. It stepped forward. The explorer grabbed their last flare, struck it, and the creature flinched, snarling at the sudden light. Asterisk fire. It fears fire. Asterisk. They swung the flare like a torch, backing toward the crevasse's edge. The Yeti matched each step, lips peeling back from yellowed fangs. Then the ice groaned. The ground shuddered, and the explorer fell. The fall. Darkness. Cold. Pain. The explorer gasped awake, half buried in powdery snow. The crevasse walls loomed high above, a narrow slit of gray sky. Broken ribs? Maybe. But alive. A scraping sound echoed from above. They looked up. The Yeti crouched at the edge, massive hands gripping the ice. Watching. The flare lay nearby, sputtering. The explorer grabbed it, and the creature vanished. Silence. Then a thud. Something heavy had landed in the snow behind them. The explorer turned slowly. The Yeti stood between them and the only exit, nostrils flaring. It raised one clawed hand, and pointed past them, deeper into the crevasse. The choice. A tunnel. Half hidden by ice, its entrance was too smooth, too regular to be natural. The Yeti growled, gesturing again. Go. Trap or salvation. The explorer edged backward, flare held high. The creature didn't follow. Inside the tunnel, the air smelled of iron and old rot. Strange symbols scarred the walls, not claw marks. Writing. A voice whispered from the dark. Not the radio this time. Not human either. The flare died. In the blackness, something stirred. The explorer ran, not toward the tunnel's depths, but back to the crevasse. The Yeti was gone. Only a single, fresh footprint remained, leading east. Toward the ruins. The truth revealed. The explorer reaches the ruins and uncovers the Yeti's secret, but at a cost. The story concludes with haunting ambiguity, leaving the reader questioning who was truly being hunted. The ruins. The ruins rose from the ice like the ribs of a long-dead beast. The explorer staggered forward, ribs screaming with each breath. The Yeti's footprints ended here, vanishing at the base of a crumbling stone archway. Wind howled through its carvings, twisted figures with too many limbs, kneeling before something taller. A shadow shifted inside. Not the Yeti. Something older. The explorer's flashlight flickered, then failed. Darkness swallowed the ruins whole. The Guardian. A growl rumbled from behind. The Yeti stood at the archway, blocking escape. Its fur was streaked with scars, its eyes reflecting the dim starlight. It didn't advance, only watched.
Then,
A whisper from the ruins. Not a voice. A pressure, like hands pressing against the inside of the explorer's skull. "You should not be here." The Yeti snarled, ears flattening. The explorer understood now. It wasn't a monster. It was a guardian. The bargain. The explorer dropped their pack. Their knife. Their camera. "Take them," they rasped. "Just let me leave." The Yeti tilted its head. Then, with terrifying gentleness, it reached out and plucked the doll from the explorer's pocket. The pressure in their skull lessened. A path through the snow opened, a way out. The Yeti stepped aside. But as the explorer stumbled past, its claws snagged their sleeve. One last warning. One unspoken rule. Never return. The survivor. They were found 3 days later, half mad with frostbite, babbling about ruins and voices. No one believed them. The photos were blank. The recordings, static. Only one thing remained, a tuft of coarse white fur clutched in their fist. Tests confirmed it was unknown. The explorer never spoke of it again. But sometimes, in their dreams, they heard it, the whisper from the ruins. And in the mirror, if they looked too quickly, their reflection seemed taller,